Hello, grade 3 and 4. Welcome back to Miss McLennan's second lesson on YouTube. So today we're having a go at doing our autumn collage, and that's inspired by the 6 seasons followed by Aboriginal Australians. And I hope you watched the video and discussed the answers with your parents. So we're in April and May, and that's the autumn season. And the land is getting cooler and it's moister and it's greener and things are growing. So what we're going to do today is you've got to try and find an animal that is active in this season. So think about what animals you see around now. Well, we know we have lots of kangaroos, so that's one. Other ones I've been seeing around Sedgwick, I've seen lots of cockatoos, I've seen lots of magpies, I've seen lots of ducks on my dam, and I've seen lots of galahs. But you might find a different animal. So once you've chosen your animal, then what you need to do is have a look up on the internet and find an image of it. So I found an image of a black duck on my computer, and that's the one I pasted on your lesson. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at the duck and have a go at drawing the duck on just a piece of white paper. So just get a piece of A4 white paper for a start and draw a duck in the middle. So I've started doing this one. So just start with pencil first and get your basic shape. Play around with that. You can always use an eraser if you want to change it up a bit. And then using pencils, and I'm lucky I've got watercolour pencils at home, so I'm going to use watercolour pencils to put my detail in my duck. So I'm working on this now, and I'm really looking at my duck carefully and trying to get the colours in. I don't know why it's called a black duck, because it's not completely black, but it has got a lot of black on it. So after I've got my shape, I'm colouring it in with the watercolour pencils and trying to look at all those little colours on its leaves, on its feathers, not leaves, feathers. So, and once I'm happy with that, and I'm not going to finish that because I won't have time, you can, if you've got watercolour pencils or water paints, you can put your water on. And you could use pastels, you could do it all in black and white if you like. You could use any sort of paint. So you can choose what medium you use, but my suggestion is watercolour if you have it. So I've painted that in, and I'm going to let that dry. So that's my duck, but I would have done a much better job if I'd had time. And now I'm going to go on a bit of a walk and collect my autumn collage materials. So I went for a walk before, and these are the things I found. So I found bark, I found the oak leaves, some autumn leaves of different shapes, nice colours. This is off a Nagapantha, some little gum nuts and some bigger gum nuts. So there's some of the things I'm going to use for my collage. So once you've come back, your duck should be nice and dry if you used water, and you can cut it out. And I'm going to really quickly cut this out because I don't want to take too much time up. So cut it out, and we're going to place it in the centre of a piece of A4 cardboard. Now look around the house for some cardboard. You might be able to find something, an old shoebox or something a shirt came in. Cut that out carefully. You can do a better job than me because I'm doing it in a super big hurry. Okay, so the duck is going to be placed into the middle of your cardboard. So that was the cardboard that I found. You can see it's off a shoebox. So, and I like to use PVA or Hobbycraft glue. You might have some in your shed. If not, it's really easy to find to buy because you need a strong glue. So this is it's actually used for wood, PVA. and it's probably one of my favourite art materials. So pop that in the middle. Okay, and then we're going to collage around the edge. Now the way you do that, it's up to you. You know, you might be inspired by someone like Jeannie Baker. So Jeannie Baker wrote this book, and I think I've showed that to you before. And she uses all these beautiful materials she just finds in the forest to make her beautiful collages. And she's just written a new book all about collage, which I've got, but I think I left it at school. So once you've got your duck in the middle, start playing around with all your bits, and you can use scissors to cut them. You don't have to actually just do it like it is. So if you're sticking on the autumn leaves, I would try and choose nice flat leaves, and I would put it onto the leaf and try and put it in the same area. But as I said, you know, I like you to be creative, so you can interpret this how you like. So I would start sticking things on in areas. With these gum nuts, what I might do is I might actually, so I've put some of the leaves, and don't worry if they stick up a bit, I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Lots of PVA though, because PVA, as you know, dries clear, so you don't see it. So gum nuts, I would just do a PVA area and then put the little ones on that area. And I would continue to, I filled my page. So that's going to take me a fair while. I would need to spend a long time getting all that done. So it should take you about an hour. It might take you longer depending how much detail you put on it. So I would keep doing that until I finished, and I've prepared one earlier. And this was the one I did before. Okay, and just a little trick, while it's to get it to dry nice and flat, just get a bit of plastic, or a plastic bag, pop it over the top, and then get a really big book. Oh, this book's really heavy. So plonk that on the top and let it dry. And once it's dry, you can also add a little bit more detail with texture because the PVA will have dried. So this is the one I did before. And what I'm going to do is add a little bit more detail now it's a bit drier, just because I'm also really like black permanent textures besides PVA. And you might like to add a little bit of detail with, if you've got a fine liner, that's good as well. Or even just a normal black texture would be fine. Or a black pencil, and maybe you can add a little bit of detail. I could sort of add some feathers on the duck to make it look a bit more realistic. So you can see I put a little bit more detail there. I can also trim up with scissors, so I could trim this up a bit, trim up all the edgy bits that are sticking out just to make it a little bit neater. And if you're really clever, you could mount it. So that's your finished autumn collage inspired by the 6 seasons of Aboriginal Australians. Have fun.